Hey guys, what's up? Haven't made a video in quite a long time, but felt like making one. Today I'm going to be talking about 6 different things that I hate about the Fiat Abarth, or Abarth, whatever. Alright guys, the first thing that I hate about the Fiat Abarth is its seating position. It's so frustrating because they advertise this car as, their sports car. It's supposed to be Fiat's, almost one of their most performing vehicles. And when they design this vehicle, the seating position is so odd. You sit extremely high and it feels like you're almost driving a minivan. And it kind of takes away from that sport car feel. So that's one thing that I really hate about this car. Alright guys, the second thing that I hate about the Fiat Abarth is the steering wheel. The wheel itself's actually pretty alright. It's an okay wheel, but it's adjustability. So right here you have this lever that you can pull down. If you pull it down, you can adjust the height of it, if you want it to be higher or lower, okay, you guys understand that. But a lot of sports cars, they also have telescopic, and that means, it can go in and out and you can bring it towards you. And that's actually really important, and this car doesn't have it, which is so frustrating. Because when you're driving, especially if you're tall, it's odd because the way the pedals are, you need the steering wheel to really be right here because it feels like you have to reach. And when you're driving fast and spirited, you don't want to reach for the wheel. It has to be comfortable so you can maneuver the right way. So that's one thing Fiat really messed up when designing this car. It should have been a telescopic steering wheel, but you know what? It's still okay, but it's one thing that I really hate about this car. Alright guys, the third thing that I really hate about the Fiat Abarth, which is to be expected, but I still kind of dislike about it. But like I said, it's expected. You're getting into this. But when you buy a small car like this, if you look at this, this is the engine bay. You have no room to work on things. I mean, you do. People do amazing builds on these cars, but it's extremely difficult to work on these cars just because if you look at it, it's like every space is taken up by something. So when you try to do something to these cars, try to modify it and stuff, it can be really challenging. So that's my third thing that I really dislike about the Fiat Abarth. Alright guys, so the fourth thing I really dislike about the Fiat Abarths is that they don't look much different than the regular Fiat 500s. And yes, there is some differences. Many of you guys, enthusiasts of the Fiat Abarth as well, can point out many. But if you set them side by side, the average person isn't going to be able to tell them apart. So I wish the Abarth had maybe more of a wide body look, maybe some more aggressive features or something that sets it apart, clearly sets it apart from a regular Fiat 500. This is kind of, a really picky thing to say, but I think it's something to point out with the Fiat 500 Abarth. When you hop into a Fiat Abarth for the first time, you realize something. If you're a true car enthusiast, most likely, and if you're watching this video, you probably have an Abarth or a manual transmission car. They're the most fun to drive, in my opinion. The driver has to be extremely engaged with the car. But here's one thing that I really dislike about the Fiat Abarth, and that's that it only offers, 5 gears. I think a true sports car should at least, or it should have 6 gears. That's just the standard. So why did Fiat put a 5-speed transmission in here? It doesn't really make sense. But like I said, that's pretty picky. These are cheap cars, so you don't expect a lot out of them. Alright, the last thing that I hate about the Fiat Abarth. It's nothing with the actual car. It's more about the following. So, in Texas, that's where I live, in many other states, I think there's a problem with these cars, and that's that there's not that big of a following. Unfortunately, it's not as big as I'd like. You don't see a lot of these around, not a lot of other enthusiasts, having group meets, anything like that. Of course there are some, but it's not as much as you would expect, compared to maybe Mustangs, Subaru WRX. So I really hope the Fiat Abarth community grows, because we can all learn something from each other, share our experiences with these cars that we really love. And yeah guys, those are 6 different things that I hate about the Fiat Abarth. Many of them are probably pretty picky, but I think it's worth it to point out, see what you guys think about. Tell me down in the comments what you guys think, and I'll catch you on the next video.